Hello and welcome to another accessibility review. Today we're looking at World of Mechs. It's a game where you pilot that, a giant building-sized robot of death, and the goal of the game is to blow up all the other giant building-sized robots of death. And it's a team-based game, so I'm actually not sure how many are on a team, but it's essentially a few different game modes that I've noticed, like where you have to hold an area, or there'll be like a big boss robot that comes in, and whoever kills it gets the point. At least I think that's how that game mode works. But there is multiplayer. There is single player, which is just matches with the bots, and not that bot, the AI bot, different bot. That'll be confusing. But those AI bots are also those bots, so it's like a double layer of confusion. Anyway, there is also a story, though I haven't touched that. Now, I've already done the tutorial, and I've even done a few bot missions, and even a couple rounds in multiplayer, though I don't think I did very good at all. I did not do well. I died a lot, and I may have gotten 1 or 2 kills, but I mostly was the one doing the dying. But before we get into the gameplay and all that, I want to start here with the main menu. So, I know what these buttons are here at the bottom because I've already had a look at them, but where I am is the back of my play space, okay? So if I move to the back of my play space and then hit the recenter button, okay? So then it sort of moves me back up into this area. Now, my play space, as you may know, is quite large. So here's me walking all the way over here physically. And this is how big this is. Now, it's nice that it's big, right? But it's sort of a downside as well. So like these buttons, nice and big, you can actually get close to them and see it says bot match, multiplayer, campaign. What is that one? Training. And nope, not bot match. What's that one? Friends. There we go. And then here's like your inventory, which is your upgrades and stuff, and your settings and exit. But for example, in the settings, right, because this big screen is so big, like I can't read that. I don't remember actually what that was. Oh, so I think that's the cockpit sway. So that's like when you're moving around, when your mech starts walking, the cockpit will kind of like do that. Which I have turned off because I'll get into that in a minute, but it makes it harder to read some of the UI elements in there, like the radar. But to actually read that, I had to stand up on my chair, because just the text is, I mean, for me it's small. I know, like here, you know, that's decent sized text, and for most people, they won't have a problem with it. But the size that it is, and it being way up there, like this is me reaching. This is my hand stretched all the way up. Right, that's about where it is. Actually, it's, if I'm on my tiptoes, it's right there. So just that is, it's just one downside. Honestly, not that big of a deal, but maybe. I mean, if we're having to stand on a chair to read that, it can be. And then the audio settings, those are pretty big, right? The words there, so that's master, effects, UI, music, and voice. I have that turned way down because it was so loud. In fact, I did an impression video, a first impressions video, was tried to, and the audio was, you couldn't even hear me talking. It was drowned out by the music and the sound effects. So this is what you get. My first impressions were pretty much just confusion and then dying a lot. So there you go. That's all you really need to know about first impressions. Me being confused and then dying. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, so that's the main menu. Um, uh, it's not terrible, but it's not great. My suggestion would be to not have it be this giant, like, wall-sized thing. A maybe, let's see, maybe from, like, see how wide that is. This button panel, like maybe a screen that wide, and then that tall, just enough to where it's still big, like the size of maybe like a 50-inch or 60-inch TV, but um, still small enough to not be a giant wall. That way, it would make it easier to read, and also as long as anyway they kept it to where you could get close to it, right? Because look, I can get really close to that with a small screen. If they kept it like that, it would still be easier to read, even if it was smaller. But anyway, that's all I really have to say about the main menu. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, here we are in the tutorial. I went back to the tutorial, even though I've done it already, because I can actually show you the cockpit without getting blown to smithereens. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that out there, that menu. Where would you assume that is? Maybe like right in front of me, maybe right in front of the mech? Nah, it's way the hell out there. Like, that's... So, the back of my play space, which is where I'm sitting, is at one side of my apartment, right? It's like where the window in the living room is. That is beyond the wall of the dining room on the other side of my apartment. That's how far it is out there. Now, okay, again, I understand, like, normal people with normal vision or whatever, perfect 20/20 vision, you can see that fine. Okay, great. But some of us can't. And some of us have really crappy vision, So, why not just pull this menu to be like right here? Just a menu. I know it's just a binary choice here. I think it's just asking if I want to do the tutorial, but have it just be like, from here to here, from here to here, that big. Just a yes or no, whatever this is. It doesn't need to be way out there, and it doesn't need to be giant. And actually, I just noticed that. That's kind of weird. It's the layering is not right on that. They messed that up, so that's just a bug. You might want to fix that. At least I think that's a bug. Anyway, so to know what this says, I actually had to take my headset off, get my phone, and open the camera app, I have a magnifier app I use, and basically look on my phone through the lens of my headset. So I'm like using the camera on my phone to look through the lens of my headset just to know what these are. So I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the left side is yes to do the tutorial. So that's a problem. This isn't just these guys. A lot of game VR devs are doing this, and I don't know why, but please, all VR people, stop doing this. It sucks. Okay, so rant over. No more that. I want to talk about this now. Okay, this is pretty much all the UI. There's that in the cockpit. This is your radar, and these are your weapons. Okay, now these two, at least from what I've played so far, not so important to be able to see, right? It'd be nice to see them, but not being able to see them isn't that big of a deal. Your weapons are just going to reload automatically, and I haven't seen to have found any disadvantage yet to not being able to see them. This one, though, the little fire on there, that's your heat meter. Now, that goes up when you fly, when you use your jump jets, and then also when you're shooting. So if you max that out, it's gonna have a cooldown. It'll take you longer to reload, and then you also can't fly while you're cooling down. Now, what is that? Stomp. Okay, that's like a stomp meter. That will fill up. That's this mech's like utility ability thing. And then I'm pretty sure over here is the special ability. Now, so the like that glows, and when it's empty, it looks like that, like black background, and then it slowly fills up. So that's kind of easy to see, even if you can't really see the image that it is. You can sort of at a glance or just a quick lean in, kind of see what it's supposed to be. But also, one really good thing about this game is there is a lot of audio cues, like there's voice feedback. So it'll say like special ability recharged and ready to use or something like that. I don't think it says that about the stomp, but it does about the ability. But the radar... Oh, and quick, right here will be a health and shields bar, and they're pretty big, so they're really easy to see. You'll see that in a second. But here the radar is probably one of the most difficult things to see, because look how small it is. Right, when you're sitting in the spot you're supposed to be sitting at, it's... Well, like, I'm reaching my hand out, and I would barely be maybe touching it with my fingertips. Right, so when I play, I actually have to scoot forward. So now I'm like not where I'm supposed to be. I'm like sitting like where my guy's knees would be. So then the radar is like right in my chest. So I'm kind of to look down and see, where the enemies, and the enemies are like really tiny little dots. So they're not even as big as the little arrow that tells you where you are. They're pretty small. They're significantly smaller. And they're just red and green. I think they're green. Red and green for enemies and friendlies. So yeah, that I feel like the radar could just be, if it were made bigger, or if they really want you to sit back here, just move these to the side and make the radar make it flat and stretch it out here, kind of like how Elite Dangerous does. If you've ever seen any of that, just make it bigger. As a general rule, make it bigger, always a good thing. Usually a good thing. Okay, so let's get on with the actual tutorial.
To rotate your cabin. Try moving to the zone
so this is just telling me how to move. You just use the sticks to move. It's like rotate, smooth rotate, and then strafing and forward. Now see, there's the health bar. See, I've got these it's like handles attached. I don't understand why, as they do not affect the mech itself. Like, why not? Like, you could just have a joystick, but that's just an aesthetic choice that doesn't really matter. But see the two bars here. The bottom is health and the top is shields. Those are really easy to see, so that's nice. But anyway, let's go on to get into the circle. Okay.
Now click and hold left stick while moving
these subtitles up there
to the next zone.
They're pretty small, but you can get close to them. Of course, they disappear, but as any visually impaired person knows, subtitles aren't really a viable thing because they go by too quick and they're too small. So that's to be expected.
Good.
Okay, so yes, this is how the aiming works, and this is probably the biggest issue, right? That little tiny reticle you see in the middle of the screen, right there, that's what you aim with, and it's based on your head movement. So your sticks and your arms, they just move the mech itself. If you want to shoot, or if you want to aim, you gotta look around. Now, that's nice, kind of, and it's fine when you're up close like this, but when you're way, let's go back here a little bit. Okay, let's say you're about this far away. I wouldn't know if that's a friendly or an enemy, right? And you can look on the radar and see that red dot, which that's a fairly big red dot. Usually the bosses are that sort of dot. Normal enemies, though, are smaller. But by the time you're looking down at your radar and looking back up, boom, you're dead. Because these things die pretty quickly. At least the beginner ones do. But once you're close, you can see this, like, red square around the, like, targeting thing. Oh, I think he kicked me. See, my shield went down. But that red, like, targeting square, I feel like that could just scale as you go further back. So, like, see how big it is now and how thick the lines are. Okay, now imagine if those lines stayed that size as you moved back. So they would still be this, as you get further back, there would just be this larger square around to help target. Or to help distinguish friend from foe, you know? So let's take care of this guy. Wait, was I supposed to... Primary gun, there you go. And luckily you can't hurt your allies when you're shooting at them, which I tend to do a lot, because again, I can't tell who's a friend and who's an enemy, but it can still be annoying. I can imagine being the other guy and just being like, what the hell, why are you shooting me? We're on the same team. Okay, so it just explained the stomp and the heat, stuff like that. So, like I said, when you fly, alright, so your heat goes up. There we go. As you can see, it's pretty easy to get it up there. But if you're in the heat of battle, you know, looking at this tiny little heat gauge, kind of difficult if you're, you know, if you have bad eyesight. So maybe they could just make it another bar here, or something like that, or even just one up here. I don't know, something separate, not just this tiny little. Maybe just make it bigger. So it's explaining that you need to look at the
Each can be identified by the icon
the bars above the mechs, but I think it's talking about that blue and the red. But see, it's kind of visible when you're close, like right up in their ass like that. But when you're further away, like that one over there, I can't see that.
5-star ability, powered and ready to deploy.
Let's see, it just did the, that's what it would say
I have granted you
when the ability charges. It wants me to take aim and press B to do its special ability.
Well done.
Oh, that was cool.
Battle to earn XP and currency so you can purchase more mechs and try out all of the unique special abilities. Okay.
And then again, this menu. I think it's just saying the tutorial's over though.
Let's get on to the good part.
But again, please devs, stop doing menus like this. Right, a menu up close is fine. As long as it isn't locked to the face. Oh, I hate those. Alright, so that was most of the tutorial. I'm sure I'll cut a bunch of the stuff because it goes on and talks about the mechanics and like heat and your weapons and how to deplete shields and stuff like that. But I really only wanted to do the tutorial to show you some of the UI elements in a controlled environment. But I'll go into some gameplay now and just show you that. I'll just do a bot match, and I'll sort of talk through that and explain some of the issues I've been having and that you will probably have as well if you are visually impaired and want to play this game. So let's get on with that. Okay, here's another one of those menus. It's not too bad. You can get close to this one at least. And this is just saying the match. And then this is your your loadout. I only have the one because I basically suck at this game. But once you do battles and stuff like that, you can get. Oh, actually, did something to equip. You can get better equipment, better mechs and stuff. There's quite a bit here actually. So we'll just go ahead and hit play here.
Mech systems initialized.
Okay, now see, this is where we find some enemies. Okay, I hear shooting, but I don't see any. It's over there. Where's some enemies? See all those dots are friends. Or allies, rather. I don't like them. They're not really friends. We don't
Objective zone C has been lost.
hang out. They're kind of weirdos. AI, AIs are kind of weird.
Opportunities now volatile, powered and ready to deploy.
See, I don't know who's who in this. I'm just shooting whatever.
Damage critical.
Damage critical, oh
Objective
no.
zone C has been captured.
Let's just,
Shock damage critical.
Is there a guy over here? Oh, there was.
Damage critical. Damage critical.
Oh, that's a big one.
Proximity liability. Powered and damage critical.
Yeah, see, I don't know if that was a friend or not. I don't think it was an enemy because I didn't seem to be doing damage. But I don't know. And that's probably the biggest issue. The menu stuff, alright, that can be worked around with a little, like I did a trick with the phone
Mech systems
and all
powered.
that, but not being able to see who is an ally and who is an enemy can be a real problem, because while you can't do damage to your allies, there's no friendly fire. It's still wasting a lot of time just firing at them if they're and I died.
Mech systems online. Objective zone B has been lost.
See, I could have just blown up an enemy, or someone else could have blown up my friend.
Objective zone C has been lost. Deploy.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm pretty sure I definitely killed that guy because he blew up as soon as I shot him.
Objective zone C has been captured.
Oh, hang on.
Shield broken.
Come on. Get to him. Is that guy? I think that guy's health bar is
Zone A
green?
has been lost.
Oh, I think it is. Okay. But that's really small. So there is a way of telling. But yeah, I would never be able to see that from far away. Okay, now this is the other menu that it's not really an important one, just saying who won the match, what the scores were, but that's way over there, and also kind of funny the layering issue. Yeah, so that's some gameplay. There's different maps. There's 5 maps, right? Can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay, I can count. Okay. That one's like, there's lava. I think that's the lava one. Then there's one that's like in the desert. There's a snowy one, and then there's one that's like in you're not in a harbor, but there's like bridges and stuff going across, and I'm pretty sure you're on like a there's like a dock and maybe a ship or something. I don't know. Either way, there's water that kills you if you fall into it. So I'm not going to do multiplayer for now. I think I might do a separate video for that, just because this is supposed to be a stress test weekend, because this is the beta that I was lucky enough to get into. Which, I mean, anyone can get into it, really. You just need to give them your email, and they'll let you in if you're in their Discord. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Because they're trying to stress test the servers and such. So I'm probably going to end up playing some multiplayer, hook up with some friends, and I'll do a separate thing for that. But until then, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, a thumbs up. I don't have thumbs again. I don't like that. You know what? Here, wait. There we go. That's kind of looks like a thumbs up, right? Sure. Anyway, thumbs up would be appreciated. If you want to see more content, including that upcoming multiplayer video, subscribe. And is there anything else? Nope, nothing else. I'm Helix. That's all for now. See you in the next one.